I want to give a quick apology for my homily this morning because it's not very Lenten. I just wasn't struck in a very Lenten way by these readings, and I guess I've justified it to myself by saying, we just went through 2 years of Lent. We can go a little light this season. Because when I saw this transfiguration in my mind, I really felt that it must have been a wonderful gift to Peter, James, and John to witness this miracle, a miracle that reveals Christ's divinity in a very special way. I was talking this week about Christ's divinity with a young lady who's new to the faith. And she's going through a bit of a rough time, not personally, but just accepting all the very difficult things happening in the world today. It was shaking her faith a little bit. Now, I think intellectually she really embraces the idea of Christ's divinity and definitely embraces his redeeming of mankind. But when talking to her, it occurred to me that she might be missing an important aspect, an important truth revealed through his divinity. And to that end, I want to ask all of you a question. Bring out your best Bible study skills. In the Bible, what is the first judgment that God makes? What is the first thing he looks at and decides what he thinks of it? It's all the way in the beginning of Genesis 1, chapter 4. God saw that the light was good. God created the universe, and every step along the way, he looked at it and said that it was not just good, but very good. Light, darkness, day, night, sky, water, land, plants, sun, moon, fish, birds, land animals, and finally humanity. And for all of it, God judged it to be very good. And yes, that is indeed the order that it is listed in Genesis chapter 1. Somehow we had light and darkness before the sun, plants too. Somehow he counted 3 days without the sun to count the days spinning. But before you let some atheist trick you into a debate about the scientific merits of Genesis, we need to remember that the Bible is not, nor was it ever intended to in any way be a scientific work. The Bible is a theological and philosophical work. It is about the nature of creation and the nature of God. And so it's not about the ordering. It's about the idea that God created everything you could imagine out of nothing, and that he found it very good. This was a revolutionary idea when it was written down. In that period, the standard thought of God was many gods, the pagan world. And one god was in charge of the sun, and another the moon, and another the sea, and they all had bits of creative ability. We believe in one God who creates it all, and did so lovingly, and made it very good. To bring this back to today's gospel, the exclamation mark of the truth in Genesis 1 is revealed in today's gospel because God chose to become a part of this wonderful creation. Creation is so good that he incarnated himself into it. And the transfiguration demonstrates that Jesus was in fact God. And his coming into the world is the defining proof that creation is a blessing and a joy. so much so that he wanted to be a part of it. So what are we to do with this nagging feeling that all is not well, that from the young lady at the beginning, and we all have those moments in our lives where, frankly, it doesn't seem like it's all very good. We have pandemics, we have wars, we have rising gas prices, we have daylight savings time. How are we to rectify this with God's definitive proclamation that it is all very good? And for me, the key to unlocking this apparent dichotomy is to stop judging things in relative terms. We must not see things the way we want them to be or expect them to be, but as they actually are. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're a parent, and at the time of birth, you find out that your child has a heart abnormality, and they will only live about 25 years. It's natural to see that in negative terms. In fact, the way I said it, only 25 years. But now I want you to imagine that everyone was born that way, that we all had the same weakness in our hearts, that it was normal that after 25 years our hearts just gave out, and that was the normal and natural end to everyone's life. Would we then see this birth as a tragedy? Or instead, would we see the 25 years that that child will get as a gift? Those 25 years are a gift, whether or not the rest of us live to 80. Or another example. I frequently hear from youth leaders when they take teens to Mexico or other poorer countries to do missionary work, to build houses or clean water systems, that the teens who go are amazed that the children there are happy. In many ways, even happier than themselves. When they got on the plane, they couldn't imagine that someone without the privileges of wealth we have here in the U.S. could be happy. And yet somehow, despite the glaring lack of iPhones and luxury cars, those poor children are very happy. So much of what we see as a failure or weakness or tragedy is because we judge things in these sorts of relative terms. 25 years is short because we expect to live to 80. What we consider poverty today would be luxurious in centuries past. Wars are bad because we desire peace. Gas prices are only a problem because we don't budget for $6 a gallon. Now, to be clear, I am not saying that we shouldn't try to make things better. Peace is indeed much better than war. We should be praying and doing everything that we can to help bring about peace in Ukraine and elsewhere. The medical breakthroughs that have doubled our life from about 40 at the time of Christ to 80 now have been a wonderful blessing. And we should continue to strive to do better. That is part of how God made us, to strive to make the world an even better place. But we must not let this innate instinct to do better obstruct us from the truth that every life is a gift, that creation is a great thing, that even a short life, a war-filled life, a disease-filled life, a poor life, that no matter what the life seems to be lacking, it is still a gift from God. We must never forget that God's creation is a very good thing, and that the transfiguration demonstrates how good it is, because God wanted to be a part of this wonderful creation.